Hey,
Hey y'all!
what up?
Happy International Women's Day.
Yes.
A definitely not made up corporate holiday.
Yes.
But like that, I will take the opportunity to celebrate women like I do every day.
Take it.
Yeah.
Take
we're
it.
Great. We're great. And,
Yeah.
I don't want to say it, but we're kind of carrying the team a bit. So.
It's disrespectful, Sheba.
It's alright. I mean, sorry, I'm just going to be honest.
We got some.
Hey.
Hey, Desiree, they got people coming in.
So today we're talking about.
We're gonna talk about our relationship. We're gonna talk about non-monogamy,
And
which is our relationship, which
exactly.
is one facet
of
our relationship.
Exactly. Which both like informs and also is like separate from like not like a big part of things.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm interested in this because typically we just get on and we.
Hey Z.
What up? What up, Z?
That's my brother. He might have just left. That's cool too. That's real, And
I think typically we just jump on and just talk about whatever. We don't really plan too much.
I know we're as we figure this out, we're trying to evolve and figure out how we want to do it. And we got like a bunch to severable.
What up?
Sorry, also we had a friend came over and we had a couple of drinks and a wee toke. So when I said,
what did you say?
I said we had severable people.
Oh, I didn't even catch that, bro.
Great. Well, couple people, asked us to talk more, specifically about our non-monogamous relationship, which we've mentioned several times. So.
Yes. So let's.
We wrote down a couple of questions that we thought would keep us on track. That usually helps. Okay, first one.
First question.
How did you start with non-monogamy? What's your idea of it, and how did you? Yeah.
Okay.
Or I can go first, whatever you want.
No, I'll go first. I think for real, I never heard of it. I never heard of non-monogamy before. You heard about monogamy. You heard about monogamy and marriage, and
when was this?
Just life.
When had you never heard of this?
I never heard of it until, I don't know, 24, 25 or something, How old am I at 25? What is that?
What year is that?
2008, 2007, around there, I think. But real talk, I always had a little, a thing, I remember when I was on Capitol Hill at the time, that's 2005, we would go with, friends to, brunch, and people would just kind of talk and complain about different things in relationships, different things in the dating realm.
Like what?
Like cheating, or, wanting something, whether it was a sexual fantasy, or, space, or... trying to think, weird things. So it was usually a lot of women, and they were complaining about their boyfriends, or dudes too complain. So it's but it was always this thing. So I always had a thing yo, did you maybe there's a thing that we don't have to be this way. So I always had some questions about it, but it never made sense to me. There was no place to go to understand a different way to be, and to be,
resource
and for it to feel
legitimate
legitimate too. Yeah, exactly. Because so I would ask questions and bring up stuff, and it'd be but it was always beat down oh, you're trying to be a hoe. You know what I mean? That's what it was, versus non-monogamy, versus a discussion about things. But the thing was, it was always just talk about that thing.
Yeah.
And that's really at the root of our whole thing. So how did non-monogamy start for you?
Oh shit. I see. I set the timer for...
No worries. 5 minutes. How did non-monogamy start for you?
Okay. So, for me, I guess I didn't start dating. I didn't have a boyfriend until I was 22, 23 maybe. Not that I didn't want one. It was just you know, I was not what, you know, guys were told to, you know, want to like date, you know. So, but guys want to be friends with me, obviously, because I'm great and funny and interesting and, you know, smart and sexy. But anyway, so I would see these guys who wanted to be my friend, wanted to have these like deep, you know, like emotional, we were like best friends and things, you know, but they would like date these other girls who they didn't seem to like talk to as they did to me. And I was like, but like, why wouldn't you just do that? Or why wouldn't you just like date me? You know? And so being on the outside looking in at that, and then like hearing, you know, just seeing the landscape in media and, you know, in comedy and in movies and music, you know, and in real life, like it seemed like dudes cheated, and, you know, women kind of knew it and got mad, but like ultimately forgave them, and like the person just kept doing it, and it just seemed like people were just very unhappy and didn't even really like this person. They had like a ball and chain. And
but when did you get to
anyway?
Yeah.
So yeah, 23. I had my first boyfriend, this white guy, and you know, we were monogamous, of course, and you know, I say of course because that was just
that's all it was.
Yeah, and you know, I was just happy to be in the room, honestly. So I was like, yeah, totally. All I have to do is like not have sex with anyone else. Great. Like I can totally do that, but like, you know, I was really good at like performing sex for someone else, and you know, I'm like, I'm down, but like I'm not getting much out of this, and it just felt very like, ooh, I feel like I'm wasting this hot body on this person who like, you know. Anyway, then I got married. My second boyfriend, I married 6 months after dating him. Would not recommend.
Yeah.
But, you know, honestly, I kind of would. Like, it just, like, don't get pregnant or anything. But, like, have, like, a great summer intensive course in relationships. Yeah. You know,
say get married for fun?
It's a contract that you can get out of it literally anytime.
Got you. But don't create anything.
But yeah, don't bring someone else and do it. Okay. You know, don't create another person. You know, like.
Is this good advice? Is this good advice, by the way, what you're doing?
I mean, you know, can't argue with these results. Can you?
I can't.
So, I mean, you know, work for me if you know. But yeah, like. So anyway, with that guy, like, I experienced for the first time, like, a real, like, jealousy. And, like, someone who was really trying to, like, control me. And in a way that I was like, yo, I married you after 6 months. Obviously, I'm really in love with you, and I'm going to do a lot. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm in it. You know, and he would, like, if I ever, you know me, I'm a chit-chatter. I have a resting nice face, which is mostly a curse. Mm-hmm. Like, people feel very disarmed by it and just want to, like, tell me their life stories. So, like, if I'm just, like, waiting in a line, I know, I bet you do, I know, that's why we're so, like, we're the same. Like, you're just in a male body. So in this girl body, like, people see this resting nice face and they just want to, like, chit-chat you, like, in line places and stuff, which sucks if you're married to a guy who's got a lot of trauma and, you know, is creating that on me and doing what he thinks. And, you know, every time someone would talk to me, he'd be like, you're talking to that guy for a long time. And I was like, who? And he's like, that guy over there. I was like, that, like, 80-year-old man? Like, yeah, just being, like, generally polite.
Sounds miserable.
And it just made me hyper aware of all of my just natural, like, you know, just inclinations to be a polite person. You know, I'm a catch more flies with honey than with vinegar person, you know. And
so this all made you suspicious of.
So it made me just very like, yo, I am getting accused of all of these things, and forcing myself to make myself smaller for like not much payoff. This is kind of bullshit. This person is like kind of judging my character and like, you know, doing all these things that like, and I'm like kind of wasting my fucking hotness on this like asshole who is, you know, not really appreciating how awesome I am and how, you know, obviously I'm demonstrating all of this love and like I'm in it. I'm like a very loyal person. I'm a Scorpio with a Cancer moon. I'm like a Leo rising. It's just, I mean, me and Drake have the same birth chart. It's just very loyal person, very straightforward person. And you know what I also didn't like?
Hold on. Okay, go ahead. You tell me.
You know what I also didn't like?
Yeah.
You know, he would do this, like he would accuse me of cheating in like a very ridiculous way. Like I went out to a happy hour with my new coworkers when I got this job at SSA, and you know me, I'm like, you know, time is a construct, and like you know, but like I learned to, I knew he found like he wanted to find any little thing to like get me on, and so I got back 30 minutes later than I had estimated. I was in like Colombia and I was coming back to Baltimore, and he was like, you know, accusing me of cheating on him. And I was like, with my coworkers at a Chili's in Columbia Town Center, you know? And I was like, I knew you were going to be weird about it, so I like made sure to get my like fucking receipt, you know? I like, it made me very like, okay, I just got to show the receipts. I'm like a very straightforward person. I was like, I don't have a, like, okay, I'll play this weird game. This is my second boyfriend / now husband. I'll try it. Okay. Here you go. Here's the fucking receipt.
Sounds like a weird decision.
Yo, it's so weird. But, you know, I was offended that he thought that, like, not only would I have sex with one of my coworkers in a Chili's bathroom in fucking Howard County, he also thought that I would, Shiva, would be so bad at it that his dumb ass would be able to like,
I'd be 30 minutes late.
I'd be 30 minutes late and
You
give
be on
myself
time.
away.
If you was doing it, you'd be doing that shit on time.
I'd be home early. Come on. I'm smart. Like, I was like, you don't even know me. This dude didn't even know me. Anyway, I was like, okay, like, is this the point we're all supposed to just, like, pretend we kind of like this person and, like, be unsatisfied with sex and feel like we can't, like, even talk to other people? Like, this is dumb. I don't want to do this. Anyway, long story short, divorced him. And after that, I was like, I'm awesome. Like, I am going to experience the fucking world. And, like, if someone isn't, like, you know, into that, isn't okay with that, they're not for me.
You weren't into non-monogamy at all with him? You didn't have that relationship with him?
I saw how he responded when I chit-chatted with a 75-year-old black man in an APHIS rental car place when we were at the airport once.
That's right, you told me about this one.
He pulled me out of line and screamed at me in front of a bunch of people, and I had never...
You cheated on me?
He was my second boyfriend, and I had never been like verbally abused before by a partner. Yeah. So I was like, what's happening? Oh no.
I don't know why I did that voice actually.
Do it. What was it?
I said, you cheating on me? I don't think that's his voice.
No, but he was doing the stuff at the counter, and it was my first time in California, and I was like, oh my gosh, like just looking out at the, you know, horizon, and this old black guy was like, oh my gosh, where are you, you know, from? I was like, I'm from here, and blah, blah, blah. It's my first time in California. Like, where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. And I like, you know, just in the space of like moving around, I turn around and I see my ex, he's like,
pissed.
And I was like, what's going on? I was like, is the, you know, something going on with the rental car? He's like, oh my God.
So he's uniquely being ridiculous, right? So
I mean, you know, he was very like, you know, he like yelled at the people around because everyone was staring, and they were like, and he was like, you think it's okay that he's just like hitting on my girl? And I was like, that old man? Like, what?
So you're saying his being ridiculous made you think, like, what's the point of...
Anyway, I would never think to actually intentionally want to be in a romantic or even really platonic relationship with another man in that relationship. He was jealous of my girlfriends. He was jealous of my brother, who is an amazing guy. So I get it, but, like, no, come on.
He was just everything.
He was just a very, you know, controlling, you know,
I know.
Verbally abusive,
I know what that's
jealous person. So it's like, no. And, I'm a very shalom in the home person. I'm very, then certainly I had very low, like, kind of standards for how I was going to be treated. So I was like, yeah, totally. I don't need to, you don't want me to watch porn? Fine. You don't want me to, like, shake hands with guys I meet? Kind of weird. I am going to point that out. But, like, okay, I get it. You've been burned before. Sure, I'll take that on. But, after a while I was like, actually, you know what? I think you're trying to make me smaller and trying to make me doubt myself and my character and my friends and my judgment, and that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but so there's better ways that monogamy could play out, right? You know what I'm saying? But how were you introduced to because I've had bad monogamy situations as well. Yours is unique. That story is y'all need to hear. You talk about it a little bit. Obviously, you're gonna put more of it in the comedy stuff. But like, how did you get to non-monogamy? How did you Okay, Sheba and I met on Tinder. Okay, my Tinder profile. My Tinder profile by then had non-monogamy. I think I said non-monogamy on there. I was just trying to. I was really more. I was just looking to fuck, to be honest with you, at the time, And Sheba was too. Okay.
Yeah, mine said I was like, I'm looking for friends with benefits only.
Yes.
Preferably a woman, or femme identifying person. But if you're like a really cool dude who's as awesome as I am, message me with something funny or interesting.
Yes. And so what did I put a joke in there? I put a joke or something in there. What was the joke I put in?
Yeah, you said, like, you messaged something and I ignored it for a couple of months.
She ignored my joints for a while.
And then, like, maybe, 3 months later, you messaged again, just like, hey, just checking in. Hope you're doing well. And I ignored it again. And then,
I think there was about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, a couple months later, I was about to go to Guatemala, and I kind of wanted to humble brag about that, but I was also very horny, so I was like, okay, who's this guy who, he keeps checking in very respectfully.
Checking in? I think it was just a couple.
You checked in a third time, and you were like, hey, us artists need to stick together. I was like, okay, right. I love that you acknowledge that I'm an artist. Thank you. Hey, I'm not on Tinder that often, so please don't be offended. But I'm going to Guatemala also for a couple of weeks. I was trying to humble brag. I'm a very well-traveled person, and so I was trying to humble brag about it, and manage his expectations. I was like, I'm not gonna be a lot of guys, when you don't respond at first, they're like, question mark, question mark, question mark, hello. Excuse me. I'm like, I don't even know you. Do you know how many people are in my fucking DMs? Don't. That's kind of rude that you would assume.
To me, that's just corny.
It's I don't know you or owe you anything, and so.
If you just the question mark, that kind of pressure is corny. It obviously it doesn't do anything. It doesn't add value.
Certainly not for me.
From my end, you know what I'm saying? So no, you never do that. You just chill. And eventually you hit me back up.
Yeah.
But it was just honest from jump. It was a lot of honesty. Yeah. Every bit of the conversation was yo, when
You told me a joke, and then you.
Do you remember what the joke was?
It was. It wasn't a joke. You told me an interesting fact. I said, "Tell me something funny or interesting."
That's right.
And you said.
I said that ostriches are the only birds that can't fly. No.
You said.
Rhinos are the only animals that can't jump. And because it was an interesting fact, I just Googled that.
He's rhino's the only animal that can't jump. Go ahead, look it up.
I just Googled it myself.
Me.
It's rhinoscan'tjump.com.
So he also then wrote a bunch of stuff about himself. He was like, so here's some interesting stuff about me. And, in that you wrote, you were from Brooklyn, blah, blah, blah. You were an animator. You were poly or non-monogamous. And, you said some other things. And I was like, I looked it up because he literally asked me to look it up. I was like, okay, yeah. I was like, oh, man, that's an interesting fact. Rhinos are the only animals. Anyway, turns out I did some research and I responded, love that fact. Thank you so much. But it turns out that, also, hippopotamuses and manatees and white men can't jump.
Did you say white men in the joint?
I did.
I think you did.
I was like, the reason I asked someone to tell me something funny and interesting because I wanted to show off how funny and interesting I am, obviously. And I wanted to see how they responded to that because I think a lot of guys are, they want women to have a good sense of humor so that, like, we laugh at their stuff. Like, I'm laughing at them. But, like, they don't really, like, they don't really value, like, a funny woman. Or at least they don't recognize it. They, like, a lot of guys...
That's not off break. That's not the first thing. It's not usually in people's...
It's not necessary.
What it is it's a weird thing. Dudes who are in, like loving relationships value that.
Of course.
You know what I mean? But when you're younger and your value system is like, I don't know, it's a weird presentation thing. It's not about actually being in a space with the person. It's about, presenting like, oh, so.
I'm performing a man.
Seriously.
Hello, like
this is an interesting thing, and it seeps into the other stuff we're gonna talk.
Yeah.
But like, it's a weird thing. Yeah. So you're
okay.
like,
anyway, yeah.
Okay.
So cute. He said that he was poly, and I was like, yes, great. Because in my thing, I was like, I am looking for friends with benefits. Like there were dudes who were like, I'm looking for my queen. I'm looking for like, I'm like, that's like a lot of pressure. One, and. I make a great first impression, and a lot of people would fall in love with me very quickly. And that's what I told him. I was like, so people fall in love with me quickly. I'm like really great in all the ways. And so
that is true.
If you feel yourself like, oh man, like, I feel like I found guys who were like, they were like, I like you, I could see you being my wife. So that's how it is. Like, and then they just try to like, perform like why I want to. It's weird. And
there's a lot of weird, like all this dating stuff, like this weird advice that dudes are getting.
I was like, you're not even seeing me though.
But
like
in terms of ways of like for control and trying to like psychologically, like conjure up like a game plan to attack you. Look, so what was dope about this is from the break, honesty. Nobody. So she's telling me the thing. I answered the question. Blah 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 blah. And then we started talking.
And I was like, can I see a picture of your dick?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not trying to see sight unseen. What if we have a great connection and it turns out that like you aren't physically what I'm looking for and like we're not sexually compatible. I don't want to waste a lot of time.
Yeah.
Making you. I want to manage your expectations. Like I'm trying to have an all around thing. So like. Yeah. If you're cool, like, we can be friends, but, like, I want to see what the dick is like. Anyway, he sent it to me, and I was like, that's a brown-ass dick. It's like, I've never dated a light-skinned guy before, or slept with one, I guess, because I was just, like, pleasantly surprised, honestly. I was a little bit like, this guy looks so, like, muscular and, like, cisgender and light-skinned, and I was like... I don't know, like, I was worried you were, like, the stereotype of those things, or what I've seen, guys who look like you don't have to be that nice, or that open. You have a lot of leverage in a lot of relationships, and, I was a little bit like, but I liked that I was able to just be honest, and I was like, yeah, do you want to, like, hang out, like, real quick? You want to... What's your schedule like? I was about to leave for Guatemala.
Exactly. So. And it was a lot of dirty talk. It was a lot of honesty. A lot of dirty talk. Yeah.
You look back through our things, it's like, whew, it's like the Fellini of sexting.
Fellini?
It's like a director. It's like it's like an art to the pictures we were painting with like how we were gonna go down on each other.
Excellent.
It's crazy.
I gotta Google that.
It's crazy. And I was like, yes, Sheebs. I think what makes me great.
What was crazy about it? Hold on.
What makes me great at dirty talk is that I think you always have to do, like, say stuff that you're intending to do, that you're willing to do, I've had from guys, they said they're going to do, like, oh, I'm going to do all this thing, and then I, like, get there, and they're like, oh, actually, I don't, like, do. I'm like, whoa!
That's a wild
move.
That's a wild move. You can't do that.
And it was only, kind of in my adulthood where I got the, confidence to be able to be like, okay, cool, we're not in agreement.
People do that. women
people.
do that as well. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
and that's a, you know, you get
Exactly.
a flip move, and it's really like a different, different ballgame.
So I just really wanted to be honest with you about who I am, what I want from you, and so so we met up.
And so for me, I had just got out of a relationship, probably my most serious relationship prior to you, where I was living with the person, and you know, there were, in my mind there was conversation and potential for marriage even over there, but it was totally not a space that I was comfortable in, you know, and I knew that, you know, and I knew that I was trying to kind of fit into something, but when I got out of it, and it ended in an absurd way, it's another conversation, but when I got out of it, I was definitely trying to just live and be a bachelor and be a solo poly or non-monogamous, figure out your word. There's all this language around it, just like, you know, I love the way language develops as you explore a space. So, you know,
solo poly is
a person who, you know, dates and considers themselves a single person. But they have lots of people that they date, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time for me, I mean, I don't know what, I'm 20, 29, 30, like, I was just having fun. The whole point, see, here's the thing. Having fun, the whole point of the thing at every level, from the marriage level to the solo poly to these polycules and the
it's a lot of like language.
It's like whatever arrangement is around, the point is conversation. It's not about what is the problem. The problem, I think, with the monogamous space quite often is that you come in with a general like idea. Like, so for me, Christian Black Baptist in Brooklyn, like, the girls want I want a God-fearing man, you know, and all this stuff. And you know, doesn't make sense. But there's a whole bunch of performances that come with that, and monogamy is definitely one of those performances. And it's just assumed, you know. And so she's looking for that sort of, but it's also like a presentation, like she's presenting, she's supposed to have this.
And also he's kind of
and he's doing the same thing.
Like I just feel like I think a lot of religious people often are the ones who are like, you know, sleeping with a congregant or cheating, and people are supposed to just not say anything and kind of look the other way. But like, why aren't you guys supposed to be friends and talk about these things?
Especially in the most intimate, like, closest, like, relationship of them all. So the way we operate is, you know, I don't know what the term is. Like, you and I are.
So like one of our first, you know, negotiations meeting, I had seen on the show Broad City, this kind of thing they did. I brought like a folder with this worksheet that was like, what are you interested in doing?
Contracts.
Yeah, I was like, yes, no, maybe, you know, interested, and will you fill it out on your own time, and like I'll come back, you know, and fill mine out, and we can like see where we connect. But even before that, actually, on the second time we hooked up, so we hooked up like one night. I went to Guatemala. I came back, and the next night I was like, let me just like say how I feel and, you know, be honest. I want him to know me and to not feel tricked or anything, you know, just, so I was like, what do you feel about gangbangs and group sex?
Yeah.
You know, like, no worries either way.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
No, but my answer is, it worked out. Like, you know, that works.
I was like, okay, cool. Because I'm like still trying to have sex with a lot of people. I think I'm really hot and interesting and fun, and I like to, I want to explore still. I don't want to like get tied down per se.
Exactly.
But I do really like hanging out with you, and I would like to still.
See, when we first started, Sheeba and I were like, we went to a sex party probably in our first.
I think our third. Oh yeah, in the first
couple of months.
Yeah, 2.5 months.
It was an interesting sex party in Virginia.
I feel like our third date was like that threesome with, Emily? Or like the white girl with the pixie haircut.
That's right, yes.
We went to this, it was really fun. We went to this, it was a virtual reality bar where you like put on these, you know, virtual reality things and blah, blah, blah. And we like hung out with this girl that Billy, you know, knew. And we had a lovely evening, you know, that was like our third date. And then like, I feel like our fourth or fifth date, it was this foursome we had. And that was the first time we had experience with another guy, like another woman and another man, and at that point I was like, you know, I think guys want to think that they're these open, sex positive people who can like see all these things, but like I actually like you, and I would like you to still like me, and if having sex with another guy is gonna make you change how you feel about my character and who I am, I'm fine without it. You know, it's cool, but like, so I'm down to
we weren't serious at that time. So to me, it's whatever. Like, this was an amazing opportunity to have a cool. Like, I've never.
But even if we're not serious, I still want you to like me, and I understand guys have a very, like, they've been told this story that, like, the most important thing in a woman is, like, her purity, kind of. Like, how few other penises have been in her. And it's especially bad if you see the other penis that's been in her.
I've always thought, well, no one's even thinking that level. I've always thought that's weird because dudes, like, this weird kind of virgin thing, I think that's nuts, you know? I don't really get
when
that.
I was a virgin, the first time I had sex was the worst I've ever been at sex. Why would you want to have sex with me then? Like, I'm so much better now, you know? Like, exponentially better. And only because I've practiced. Like at everything, you know? Like, nothing. I'm not like, oh, man, be my chauffeur. You've only driven once? What?
Yeah. I don't get that. I don't see it. It's a whole thing. It's a weird, like, it's a whole narrative, you know? It's a whole narrative that is trying to support something that's back.
I think it wants to undervalue, you know, it wants women to doubt their sexuality.
It's a power thing, yo.
Yeah, of course.
It's a power thing, without a doubt. Obviously, it also has an age implement as well. Anyway, so this kind of honesty, this kind of clarity, you know, we were just clear about things sexually. We were clear about, like, our values, and we just had really interesting conversations early. And we set up this thing for eventually, as I started to, you know, we started to get serious and date, and we came up with this way to talk in an honest way. Like, first off, just to really prioritize truth no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So
I think, like, when we were gonna have the foursome, I wanted to know. I was like, how do you want to feel after this?
Exactly. Yeah.
What do you want to? Our car ride home. What do you want that to be like?
Exactly. And I was like, I just want us to look at each other like, holy shit, what a fucking night that was.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah, it was so fun. It was great. Yeah. And I knew, like, every step of the way, I was like, I'm going to put myself out there, and if he's not into it, if he's like, ugh, all right, you're not for me. Cool. And, like, we had a fun time. I appreciated it for, you know, the time that we had a great time, and I'm glad for this experience, but, like, okay, you're not going to be for me.
And for me, exactly, same deal, you know? That was the exact same deal.
And so each time that, like, I said the thing and you were like, yeah, I think it would be really cool, I was like, okay, great. All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then it was really cool. And it gave us the strength to be more bold and be like, hey, like, what do you think about this sex party? You know? Yeah. What do you think about going to my mom's 70th birthday party? She's having a birthday party. I know it's weird. It's going to be my whole family.
It was everything. Like, we quickly, like, really kind of, I don't know, there was so much trust that, you know, I'm having such a great time. I was like, yo, let's also go to this birthday party, which has all the implications. Like, oh shit, I'm meeting parents for this crazy ass girl that is like a ridiculous, you know, fantasy on one level. And here's the difficulty, right? Because I'm raised, and a lot of cats could probably relate to this. Like, we split our heads. We like to believe that there's the hoe and the housewife. There's the this and that. And it's just like, and you gotta, and you know, you seek out both. Like, you really lust after this thing, and then at the end of the day,
you're gonna
marry. You gotta choose this other one over here, and it's like, I don't know, man. So I repeatedly on mine was just dating people who I would see this split though. It's funny. Yeah. It's funny how it plays out that way.
We're also aware of this split and this story, exactly. And we know we're not supposed to.
That's what I'm saying. What I want to say is, like, the women who were down for, the women who would, like, when I would understand. So for instance, when I started understanding of this language of, like, non-monogamy, like, I'd put it on Tinder and I'd be like, you know, I'd be like, I'm non-monogamous. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't sure that I could say it, or that, like, I was really bogged down by the assumptions that would come with it, you know?
Yeah.
And then eventually, you know, you get different responses, and people would want to know what that meant, and people would ask questions, like, shorties would ask questions, and then I would go, like, I would explain it, and she'd be like, okay, you know, interesting. Some people would be really, like, into it, and it would be an introduction, and they would be down, you know? They'd be like, you know, and it's not just sex. The point is to say, you know, I'm dating you and these people, and here's the real truth about the arrangement, you know? Here's how, you know, here's who I'm in engagement with, you know, in a similar fashion. And if you have any questions, let me know, you know? That's how I did it. So I was solo poly, and everybody I was seeing was aware, and we would just talk. And the point was, it wasn't like the way you and I, we have kind of a formalized deal every month. And then we also have just an open space generally. But on my end, when I was solo, it was like different women had different like views on it. Like some were like intrigued and wanted to hear stories about other people. So, you know, and then others were like, okay, so our time is our time. It's fine, you know? And for me, it was up to me the way I look at it. And so to call it non-monogamy, I think the extended word is ethical non-monogamy. The ethical part is completely about the conversation. The ethical part is completely about the commitment to just making sure that like you're above board on stuff. So what happens is, to me, I think before with monogamy, there were so many assumptions that like conversation was like secondary. We didn't really kind of feel that we needed it. But in an ethical non-monogamous space, the conversation was primary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You started to develop completely different skills. We wasn't trying to, we really weren't encouraging shame on stuff. It was really kind of, you know what I'm saying? Our conversation was primary, and so it's a different deal altogether.
I saw a thing recently that, like, rather than ethical non-monogamy, which still has, like, a kind of moral assessment on it, is more consensual non-monogamy. It's just like we're having a meeting of the minds on, you know, the terms of our relationship, which I think is kind of what everyone wants. We just want to know, what are we? You know, like, what can we do? Like, I don't want to just assume that you know, this is what your idea of being together is. This is blah, blah, blah.
You know what I think? I love that with the little linguistic move. Let me just say real quick. I think like ethical in this space, consensual and ethical are almost like synonyms here.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
The whole point, like the point is to understand that, you know, there is no standard there of what it means to be a good woman. You know, it has to be, or to be a good man. Frankly, like we rest on the shoulders of all of these previous like definitions, and so there are things that we know. We come into the relationship with these understandings. We can't help that. But then the point is to be clear and have as much clarity as we can about what we really are pursuing and how we really feel, and allow space for those definitions to evolve.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I in my, you know, thing, I was like, I want to, I'm looking for friends with benefits. So primarily I wanted this person to be a friend. So even if we're not sexually compatible, I want to still be able to like kick it with you and like talk and like enjoy your company. And so I really liked, on our first thing, we would like, you know, we fucked, and then we would talk and fuck and talk, and, you know, at the end I was like, okay, I would like to be home by 1:30 a.m. though. And Billy is so sweet. Like, I love it. Billy was very, like, I was going through a pretty woman phase, so I was like, I don't want to kiss. I just want to, let's bang it out, you know. And
not a kisser.
But Billy was very, like, you know, like kissing me in a very, and like he's got these beautiful fucking pillowy lips. It was like really beautiful. He's a good kisser, which, all right, not a lot of guys are great kissers. I realized with that, and I was like, you kiss a lot. And
that's part of it for me.
But it was great. I loved it. It was so romantic, and I was like,
That's probably why, like, for me, even as, like, when I was, like, I've never, like, even when I was solo, I was never, like...
You're a gentleman,
all over the place. Well, it's just kissing and the experience is the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? It's not about bang, bang, bang and a nut, but that's... So this is a very sexual thing, but just, I don't know. It's both. It's insane.
And then at the end, I was like, I want to leave. Like, it was like hard to leave though. I was like, oh my God, I'm having so much fun. But like, I lived with my mom, and I was like, let me get. I'm trying to get home to my bed and fart in peace. I like this guy. He's really cool, surprisingly. So I don't want to.
So later.
Yeah, I am very open about lots of things. I'm like, this is who I am. But like these farts, I mean, it just. The smell and sound does not match the beautiful vessel out of which they come, from whence they come.
Hold on, let's check this real quick. So, Britt says, yes, like non-monogamy by default should be ethical and consensual. Because is the alternative
unethical non-monogamy, which I think is what most of us are exposed to when we think of non-monogamy. It's like, someone cheating, someone, and which is by definition, you're like lying to this person. You have to like, kind of be surreptitious. You kind of, and even if it's like an open thing, you still have to like, I want him to be my friend. And like, I would tell my friend about this hot sexual encounter that I had.
Here's what I think. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Here's what I think the big, like, non-monogamy includes monogamy, yo.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just be like, close it up. Sometimes we are monogamous for a period.
Yeah.
And other times not, Non-monogamy is not even like a condition. It's a conversation around the thing. So it's like...
It's an ongoing, conversation and agreement, and...
That's the thing about it.
We don't have to be like, you said then that was the thing.
Exactly.
Like,
all based on honesty and ethics. So the problem with what you're saying, monogamy should be ethical too. It can be ethical, but it's a condition that has some strictures to it that don't allow for a conversation to happen,
Yeah.
And it makes it awkward. It has moral potential punishments and things like this attached that disincentivize honesty. So the point is to just create incentives for nonstop honesty. And it's always going to be from love. A safe space. Like, honesty sucks sometimes, but it's always from love. And so you can always, like, figure it out, rather than to shut it down.
And, like, if I love you, like, you're my friend. I don't want to control you. I don't own you, like, no one owns another person. So I like, people often say, I couldn't be non-monogamous. I don't like to share. Like, he doesn't belong to me. He's not mine to divide up, but like, if I do feel jealous, like, which I haven't, because we've been so honest about things. But like, early on I was like, I guess, like, in the abstract, I am kind of like, you're an awesome person in all the ways, and I really like hanging out with you, and I, am a little, afraid that maybe one day when you fully realize how dope you are, you're gonna get tired of me. You're not gonna want me anymore. And I'll be sad, but also, I want what's best for you. I don't want anyone to stay with me out of, like, pity, that, like, oh, I said we had to do it, and... Since you're such a dope person, you were like, oh my God, I would never do that, which I love. I know you're not, and I know I'm awesome, so you wouldn't anyway, but like, I don't want you to think that, like...
No, I get the premise of it, but I also don't like the thought of it at the same time. Like, I get the intellectual exercise, and I agree, I have the same view on you. You know what I'm saying? I get that, it's like, for real, like, take love and the extension of it and the idea that, you want this person to be exactly what's best for them, even if you're not in the equation. Then you include that, and so I can intellectualize that. But I also think it just sucked. And when you said that, I think primarily I want you to know that there's nothing to worry about on that at all. I love you so much.
I love you so much. You're so dope.
But
that's
the
other thing too. Like, Billy's awesome. So he's a tough act to follow. So like, and I am I work on myself a lot and do things. So I am in a position to see him fully and know that, like, oh, I'm just going to be self-destructive and, like, go, fuck any guy that, like, wants to come around. Like, no. Like, honestly, most dudes are kind of lame. Not your fault. It's just, we haven't demanded that you be interesting or funny or kind or well off or, like, someone I can take around my family. But, like...
Damn, Sheebs.
Sorry. Like,
Jesus.
Like, most of the women I know are just, like exponentially cooler than a lot of the men I've met. So I think a lot of guys struggle with it. Oh man, last week this guy said he was saying that most women can't handle the truth, and I thought, like, one, you don't know most women. Two, like, the reason that many women feel like they have to lie about the number of people they've previously had sex with when they meet a new person, a new man, is because we've heard the stories that, like, you don't want a hoe, you don't want someone who, like, they're dirty, they're used up, they're not, and so we have to pretend that we're these asexual beings who only have sex the one time, and we didn't even really like it, we just did it because that's what you do, and
what's crazy is when you realize how frequent that is, how that is the norm, like, this level of awareness of a metastructure, you know what I'm saying, about how to be, and understanding the carrots and sticks and, like, the benefits of, do you want access to this lane of thinking, where you could be a potential wife, or this lane of thinking, and where those things are shut off, and it's like, that's interesting,
Like, the story we reposted today was this, someone was asking about, like, how do I, kind of convince women to be non-monogamous. And,
you said you talk about me? That's you.
I am Mr. Q, Mr. Question Mark. It was the thing. It's like, I think women like men, many women like many men, are non-monogamous. They want to explore things. Like, we're one of the few species who can have sex for pleasure. Why wouldn't we explore that? Like, it's a thing that can create life. Maybe it can also heal. And, it's a generative thing, Yeah, like, look at me and Billy. Like, we're awesome. And I think our union and our connection is going to save the world. I don't know. I keep saying, like, I don't, but... I just think, like, women are taught that if we want to have a good life, if we want to be considered a good person, if we want people to respect us, which is to treat us as if we're humans, treat us as if we're a man who's done anything, we have to be these chaste little, like, oh, no, I don't even, penises, no, oh my God, strippers, oh my gosh, like, we're taught that, like, sex is kind of a performance for men, or something you do to secure a man, and it doesn't matter if you don't enjoy it. That's not really the point. The point is he enjoys it, and if you're good at it, he's gonna stay with you. But, like, we all see, like, Beyonce is probably great at sex, but Jay-Z still cheated on her. Like, lots of men have had these women know that they're like, I do everything, I had his children, I did this, I didn't even ask him to marry me, and he still cheats. It's like, yeah, because it's not about that. It's just
why is that cute? Did somebody tell me why this happens? Yeah. Well, men don't cheat. Black men don't cheat, by the way.
Which is weird, because another black man, one of your friends, told me to watch that Eddie Murphy Raw, in which he spends the first 25 minutes talking about all men cheat. They lie.
Yeah, there's a lot of
and if you're there with your man and he's looking like nah, he lying. So. I know it's supposed to be funny, but isn't that a great way to disseminate a message? So we, all are like, ha ha ha, no, but, like, yeah. And so, like, cool, but also, like, even if I didn't just see it there, I also see it in real life. Every, like, hip-hop song is about, girls. I was like, okay, so, like, guys are supposed to do that.
Yeah, we're definitely taught that that's one of the spoils of life. Like, that's one of the benefits you get, particularly if you can get some success and some money or whatever. Like, you are supposed to, like, that's how you know that you're doing it, is if you have multiple women.
You can have sex with a lot of women, and you have a woman who knows about it and, like, doesn't like it, but puts up with it because you're otherwise not hitting her. And it's like,
that's the part I don't understand. Like, there's all men don't cheat. Yeah, all men don't cheat.
All people don't cheat, I think, is a accurate statement.
Yeah. I think that. So to me, it's one of those things where it's such a weird thing that this image of the successful man with multiple women, I think that I think that it's just a weird thing to put that in that category, when at the same time we encourage kind of the dishonesty in our regular conversations. That we discourage we encourage these boxes. It's something that you can talk about. It seems to me that like different people get different things from different people, and that it might be a huge burden to expect that I will bring everything that you need in the situation, and it might be a burden to expect that you bring everything.
It's an unrealistic, impossible expectation to put on someone I love. I recognize that my mom can't fulfill all of my needs, nor can my sister, nor can my best friend, nor can my lover, nor
and
can
especially it couples with a kind of way of distancing other people too. Like women are encouraged to put distance between their male.
A romantic relationship is the most important thing, and then it's female, platonic relationships, and then
male platonic relationships shouldn't exist.
It's male familial relationships is the only thing, and you kind of still can't be too close.
It's all really, and I don't think it's psychologically well. I don't think it cares to really think about the human condition much. And really, at the end of the day, all we got to do is talk, like, because anything's possible. So, like, somebody asked at the top, so how do we do it in specific? Do you want to get into that, my love?
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of talking about it.
Oh, we were, okay.
In general. So, yeah, we, like, by this point, we're almost 3 years in.
Yeah.
And, like, he's my best friend. How would you talk to your best friend about this girl you thought was hot, or that you wanted to explore, or that you were like a little like tired, or that you wanted to connect with something in your body, you wanted to practice something, and so we get to like, for me, like as a woman, I like always want to get to know like my vagina more, and like my vulva and my clitoris and things.
But you see how all these things are kind of discouraged. You know what I'm saying? Like to put these things in a taboo space. Like you're only allowed to look at them in a sanitized way.
Yeah, you can only look at it like in the bounds of marriage with one person, and it's not really for you. Masturbation is not a thing, and like it's like. That's one of the ways to get to know your fucking body. Like, I don't want to rely on someone else to tell me about, like, what's going on in my thing. I want to be able to know what feels good, know what feels bad, and to be able to communicate that to someone who cares.
That's my issue with a lot of the religious stuff around love and relationships. Like, embedded in there is always, it seems to me, in these traditional, like, religions, this weird, disgust over, like, the body and genitalia, like, and love and sex. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's weird. That's clearly not a reflection of what this is. Like, and why would you, and even by that standard, if this is we're God's image and we're God's children, like, this is why would it be disgusting?
Seems like throughout history, all humans of all races and genders and classes and ethnicities and eras and ages, fuck. Like, it's okay. Like, it's not just okay. It's natural. It's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to explore what these babies can do,
Exactly. And the fucking is weird and fun, and it's goofy.
It's
weird. It's all kinds of, like,
fun and
what the
silly.
fuck? What is that? And, like,
but
all kinds of
women are taught that sex, our part of sex is supposed to look good. It's supposed to smell nice. It's supposed to be hairless. It's supposed to be compliant. It's supposed to, like...
Gaze.
Your discomfort, you're not supposed to burden the dude with the discomfort of, like, actually this doesn't feel good. Or actually this actively hurts. You're supposed to just kind of move around and, accommodate it. Because we're taught that, like, pleasing this guy is the most important thing. And...
I want to see how you respond to that, baby.
In Africa, you could have several wives. Yeah, in lots of places. You could have several wives. And... in places in Africa, you can have several husbands, which, wow, finding more than one husband who's excellent. All right, I'd like to see it. But I get that, like, oh my God, like, more than one wife?
So for me in there, when I read that, I immediately go, why wives, Wherever, why wives and not, like, in the reverse? Why does that seem, and that to me is that's a function of power.
Yeah.
Like, I that's the only explanation for that. So, what I love again about this thing is, for me, there's just like we get to talk about whatever it is. We get to make it happen because there's a recognition of how powerful we are. Whatever world we want to create, we can just do it.
Yeah.
And to do it on equal footing. You know, I gotta hit into this. So this is another reason I think that non-monogamy worked for me. So when I moved out here to DC, was the first time I really got hit with being light skinned a lot. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Sometimes people would mistake me with, oh, you think Dominican, and they would start talking to me as Dominican. But coming to DC, getting hit with this light skin thing as a pejorative, as an insult, or as something to, not an insult, let me rephrase that, something to feel bad about. Like,
I think we also thought, like, a lot of, being from the DMV, I know that a lot of people, I thought that you were mixed. Like, I think around here, because of the military population and the government and the transient nature, I think a lot of people who are your complexion are often mixed, white and black, or
sure.
Black and...
But I never really had to deal with that. Nobody ever really stressed me about it. But coming out here to DC, the narrative around it and the assumptions as dating, these weird assumptions, like, I like to be an individual. I take pride in that. I enjoy being exactly who I am, But, people, this is how it works, people take these archetypes, these images off the shelf, and whatever they know about you, then whatever they don't know, they fill it in with the thing that's on the shelf. That's all they have. That's all they have available to them. And you know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it.
Their brains are trying to
That's my
protect
perspective now. Exactly. That's my perspective now. But I just want to say, like, I hated these assumptions that, like, I'm a womanizer or kind of a hoe kind of thing, So non-monogamy really attracted me because, okay, I enjoy women. I enjoy sex. I enjoy really interesting sexual arrangements and flirting. And flirting. I'm a flirt. I enjoy flirting. But I don't want to be that. I don't want to fit into that stereotype. I don't want to fit into that category. I don't want to be a womanizer. I don't want to be like the hoe in the worst sense, right? So I want to be, if I want to be a hoe in the best sense, I don't. So to me, this makes sense. I don't believe that some of the other, like, restrictions on personal behavior make sense. What makes sense is if I'm speaking to you and I've organized, like, an arrangement with you that is in full understanding and respect for your autonomy and your freedom and shit, and we get
have the same,
and we just make it, and,
power,
and we have the same power to agree. So all of these things in embedded in that. That's the power that we have, at the end of the day. Real talk. This is some fundamental shit, real talk. If we get into it, some stuff about manifesting, people apply it most often to career and to love in different ways. But if you truly believe it, that's all this is. Non-monogamy is,
just created this.
It's exactly, but non-monogamy is an expression of genuine, like, egalitarian manifestation between two people who are in love. You know what I'm saying? Or not. You don't have to be in love.
Yeah.
Two people who enjoy each other for a moment, who
are just pals,
whatever.
Who are like, cool, let's have this fun, like,
it's friendship.
It's friendship.
Like real friendship without a power differential. And really creating the conditions for that.
Yeah.
And that's what I see there.
White supremacist patriarchy has told us that, like, love and relationships and everything is scarce, and you have to hoard it, and you have to, like, covet it, and, like, if you have some, that means there's less for other people and things, and it's like, we reserve sex to just this one sacred moment with one person, and, like, if you have all these other things, if they're great in other ways, sex shouldn't be important, and it's like, no, it's just a human experience.
Yeah, it's all like, sort of stuff. Yeah.
And.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So, I mean, somebody mentioned jealousy, and you kind of brushed jealousy off. I actually want to see if I can touch on it. I don't have much jealousy with Sheba at all. I would say early on, that's how I knew I started to like her. Because, real talk, I was stiff-arming her hard because I was out of that relationship, and I did not want to get into a new one. And, so we were enjoying ourselves and coming up with crazy things, and, had a great time. And then, I think we were chilling with some friends of ours, and we knew that they were in that lifestyle. And I think we had the conversation about like what would be awkward, like what we started to talk more seriously about like what we wanted to like what would keep this going. This is I guess the early incarnations of the negotiations meeting, and so you like you were for the most part we would go to parties together. You know what I'm saying? And then I think I had a girlfriend I was seeing. Or two. I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, you already, like, when we were dating, you were with this queer couple.
That we still,
who we still, now we're, they started out as a threesome, and now we're a foursome. I thought that, like, when I first met him, he was with this, it was like a lesbian couple, two women who, like, loved having Billy over, and that was, like, a green flag for me. I was like, wow, people who shouldn't like you, who probably have had a lot of not great experiences with cisgender men, find this particular one really awesome. And like that's the sense I get from him too. And so I loved like the co-signing of my sisters, So I thought that was really cool. So
see, but even in this whole space, I met Elle on Tinder. Should I say name? I don't know if I should say name.
Yeah. Jay.
Yeah, it's just a letter actually. So we're
good. Anyway.
I met people. So, but like, the whole thing is possible through being honest, and being clear. So, introduced you to Elle, and then met her wife, and we just had a good time, and we've been having a good time.
Yeah.
And obviously there was a pandemic. We stopped seeing each other for most of the beginning of the pandemic. I said for like a year and a half. We didn't see them. You and I like hunkered down real tight, in the pandemic, and really got to know each other. No, we were knowing each other the whole time. To be honest with you,
man,
we were really like getting into it. But the pandemic really was an interesting moment where, with all that, I was at CNN. We moved in, exactly. You moved in.
Let's see how this goes.
And we just started like, I was nervous about it. I was like, damn, this is not a good move. Now, I've really enjoyed Chiba. This is going to create a new situation that I'm not used to, and I'm sure, blah, blah, it's not going to work. But I was like, whatever, let's see. I was really like, I don't know, something felt like, let's see.
Yeah, I thought like, even if it doesn't work, like, all right, we can still enjoy the time that it does work. We don't have to sign, buy any property or anything.
But it was interesting, man. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful.
So fun.
It was
I think
rough,
we both had similar ideas about like freedom and space and connection, and like we were just very like honest about kind of what we wanted, and we could like we're the type I think to like I like to us both to be doing our own thing, kind of in different parts of the room or different parts of the house, and like we can like chit chat when we see something interesting or we would chat. And
I didn't think it was gonna work. I didn't think it was gonna work, and I kept stiff arming her big time. But she
it was pretty, and me, I just knew how great I was, so I loved it. I was like, great. I think a lot of times like dudes sometimes when they see how great I am, they're like, yes, I like this person, but they like don't care so much about whether or not I like them. And they they kind of love bomb me a little bit, so I don't get the chance to be like, do I even like this person, or do I just like...
Sorry, did I get to the jealousy part? Yo.
I don't know.
So my whole experience with being non-monogamous, I never really was deeply in love like this. You know what I'm saying? To be honest. So to me, I wasn't sure about what it would be like, So now it transitioned to like, this is just fun with this dope ass fun chick, to like thinking about her as a wife. And what that means for me growing up where I grew up, there was all these things. And like I said, I've separated it, I've separated it. In my mind, I'm thinking, how does it have to look, And even at like your mom's, she was wild, she was fun, she was amazing. At your mom's like party, you had that dress, you had this awesome.
Oh yeah, it's my profile picture now for things. It was my mom's 70th birthday. I bought this thing from like Nasty Gal or something. It's this like kind of sheer white like bodysuit like with this sheer like lace thing.
Yeah, it was out,
Beautiful.
Came out,
Beautiful.
But you could see her ass. You know what I'm saying? And it's like her mom's 70th, but you can see her ass and her legs and her whole You know,
and I'm surrounded by my family.
It's surrounded by my family. That's it. We're not at the club.
baby.
Let's say this would be a club joint, but this was a family thing, and I was so fascinated by you and that experience and how your family interact with each other, how beautiful they all are, and I was like, okay. And then we started to hang out, go to all these other things, and I'm saying, okay, I'm falling. I think I'm more interested. Now you said I love you even.
Oh yeah, pretty early, maybe like two months in or something, maybe 3 months in. My dad had died like 2 years before, and I was like, all right, people can, there's a finite time for people to be here. So, I might go, you might go, and I would like you to go knowing that like, I think I'm in love with you. It's only been like 2 months. Don't feel pressured to say anything back because I know it's like a red flag and like it's very early, but like you're a very cool person, and I think like I would definitely fall in love with you.
And I was like, man, wow, thank you. I was trying not to say that back.
Yeah.
I was trying, and I didn't. I don't know how much more longer it would take for me to...
It took probably like maybe a month or two, but like I could tell because you were like, you would be like, I care about you a lot. And I was like, I bet you do. But you do care about me a lot. I love that. And I was like, I'm not trying to pressure you, but like, cool, I know I'm irresistible. I literally warned you that you were going to fall in love with me. So I get it. I'm great.
But at the same time, like, so there was some things like this would have been red flags and pressure, but at the same time there wasn't. At the same time there was a lot of freedom and like, you'll see when I see you kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated. All these signals to me felt like, man, this is fantastic. I don't know. These arbitrary acceptable timeline people in love or falling into.
Exactly. And I get it. I've been love bombed before, and it played into both my insecurities, and also my greatest kind of dreams. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I think I am amazing, and if you spend literally 5 minutes with me, like,
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, and you are that. I mean, that's what it was. And you said that, and I remember like,
yeah,
that's what's up, girl.
Exactly.
But I was in a different space, and then just time with you, and it's okay. So then this is how I knew jealousy crept up. Jealousy crept up at a sex party. Thinking about, so to me, is this graphic? Can we say this? To me, the one thing I said to her, I was like, I don't want to see someone nut on your face.
That was like our one kind of boundary, we pretty much would like tell everyone everything, but
that's the one thing.
Yeah,
like we talked about it, and I was like, I don't want to see that because I don't know. I had a whole thing in my head about disrespect and how men are, But frankly, the way this works is like, for instance, what's his name? I don't know if you're not saying names.
T.
Okay, so T's a great person and is cool dope dude. And like totally understands the world the way that I do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not a, it's fantastic. I think he's a dope person, and you seem to like him a great deal, and Yeah. And so we rock out.
I also like when you gave that boundary, I was like, okay, cool, but also like, I was thinking, and I think I said, I was like, can you, I'm okay with you coming on a girl's face, or doing that things, how's it going to work? And like, are you going to run out of the room? Do you even want to know that it happens? Would you like him to not do that? Exactly. Which is fine. Like, I just want to know. So we can coordinate it. And it's, in my experience, a lot of guys, they struggle sometimes to, come to completion, but that's not always the point that, they have to ejaculate. But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was also like, is it like on my face? Is it like, anywhere in my body?
You know what it is, to be honest, yo? She was fantastic at sex, and I know that not only is she so what I mean when I say fantastic sex, I mean, movement, and I'm talking about energy.
Passionate.
She's passionate. She's got a little like slutty kind of baby thing going on.
I'm about like the performance too. It's like a very like, auditory, visual, sensory, all the things.
All the energy, all the greatest porn stars that have existed in my head that I fantasized about. Mm-hmm. She brings that kind of energy, that commitment. Okay, so I think what I said there, it was true, and it was an example of like the honesty that we have. Like I'd never said that to a girlfriend before, but I wanted to. I was like, you know what? Yeah, this was interesting because as we were exploring and talking and being honest, it put us in an opportunity to have to be more clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is like creating more language, right? It's like, okay, so let's be more specific here. So,
and for me, because I was like, I want you to like me. I really love you, and I think you're a really cool person, and I would like to keep having sex with you, but also I want you to come hang out with my family and do all these, things, more intimate things. And so if this is like the thing, this is literally the one thing you ask of me, easy, cool. But I do want to be specific about what exactly you're struggling with about it.
Yeah.
And so then eventually I was like, so like, you said that it was like, how guys are. And that they will kind of treat me differently after, they come on me.
No, not that they would treat you differently. Just in my head, I have a vision.
They would talk about it.
Potentially. I mean, they could talk about anything. To me, it's like, to me, on some level, I realize that, people are people, and I guess it was an effort to make sure we're dealing with good people at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? And then also, but though, that act in my head is the place where it's like the most detached from the girl. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's totally like not interested in that, and the way that...
I think I've been taught that it's like detached. I think it's a very intimate thing. Like,
I think it's
how many
fantastic.
people do you let come on your fucking face?
Yeah.
Not that many.
I think it's fantastic, bro.
That's like a very intimate thing. It's like when Bobby Brown and fucking Whitney had a show, and there was that one time where Whitney was constipated, and Bobby Brown put his fingers up her butthole and extracted her poop, and she was like, "That's love. That's real love." That's kind of how it feels. A less gross version of that is coming on one's face. I love you so much.
Much less, I hope.
You're going to, exactly, much less, I'm not trying to kink shame anyone, but, I think,
I feel like it's a different thing. I feel like it's a different
thing. Yeah, like, why not, you love me more than, like, a towel you would wipe it on, so, like...
So here's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, in terms of, like, when men are alone and speaking to each other, that's one of the disrespect signs. It's less, like, about, even chicks that they're having sex with, that it's not a ton of, like, love. It's just... That one is like, fuck it, like, then I nut, you know what I'm saying? To me, I was like, man, I want to, I'd rather not see that. And actually, I know that, like, for me, so the restrictions are, to me, have to be reciprocal. So I was totally, like, looking for you to give me something, and I was surprised.
But, no, come on this girl's face. I think it's really hot. I'm going to, like, lick her face, like, afterwards, Sorry, it's really gross. We'll put a trigger warning or something on this. But, like, I was like, no, like... I love that. I don't think you're gross, and I don't think you're disrespecting this person, and
right.
I don't want you to think that I'm gonna just choose dudes who are gonna be assholes to me about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to feel bad also, or dehumanize in any more than I would like to be dehumanized. And
see, that's the thing. Like, exactly, the whole space is interesting.
Slutty baby, y'all are killing me. Oh my god, I love it. I wish on Instagram you could, like, see, like, when we post it, like, people's comments and when they commented and stuff. Oh my god, I love it. Okay, great. It's interesting. Everyone's loving it. All right. Great. We're perfect. Knew it. Isn't that crazy? Every time I think, like, this is too much, no one wants to hear that, like, I don't want to be too Sheba because people will hate that. But every time I do, everyone loves it. Everyone feels like, oh man, you too? I thought I was the only one who did this slutty thing or wanted to be kind of like have a gross sex thing. Being a human is weird. Sex is a weird thing. It's weird that we put one's body inside of another person's body, no matter what the appendage it is. Like, strange.
Thankfully,
but interesting.
It can feel good. Thankfully, it's a fantastic fucking thing, And
there's such a mind-body connection too, which is also awesome. I love getting to know my mind better and, like, just seeing how all this shit is connected and how, like, it helps us communicate verbally better. Like, it's just everything's so much fucking out.
You have to communicate. Could you talk to, like, I feel like we're not giving, because the number one question, like, my male friends who ask me about non-monogamy is as it relates to jealousy. And I wonder if I'm giving, like, good insights on how to deal with that or think about that.
So I think jealousy is just an emotion, like anger or fear or anxiety or happiness or, insecurity. And I would deal with jealousy how I deal with any other emotion. So I sit with it and I process it, try to see where that comes from, and then I talk to my best friend about it, I'm like, this might be nothing and just be my weird trauma response to a thing, but I feel this insecurity about this thing.
Like, it's not a bad thing either.
Exactly.
I think
It's
that's
a human
something too,
emotion. We're humans.
yeah, it's not something to run
To
from.
try to pretend that you
I don't think it means that non-monogamy is not for you. Like, again, non-monogamy is not a condition or a state it's not a specific way of being. It's a freedom of conversation. So
that we haven't seen modeled much.
Exactly.
So it's gonna feel like
feel
wrong,
weird. Exactly.
You know?
We've been indoctrinated into a way of thinking about how we should look. And, at the end of the day, I think, there's a ton of, like, happiness and freedom in, like, developing your shit with your closest fucking pal.
Exactly. And, like, I bet a lot of us have had friendships where, like, really close friendships, platonic friendships, when this person gets a new friend or something, and they seem to, like this person and want to hang out with this person more, you feel a little jealous, I bet. You're a little bit like, hey, this is my friend. Like, I know you belong to, obviously, I don't own you, but, like, it's just this jealousy, I think, comes from this idea of scarcity that, like, if you give any attention to this other person, I'm going to lose out. I am not worthy of any kind of commitment or, just talking. Like, it's been great to, I don't feel much jealousy because I think we're able to, I don't feel any jealousy because we're able to talk about, I talked about these things a lot early on. But, I'm also increasingly confident in how great I am. And I know that even if Billy does, I guess, what's our one, like, I think it's fine if, you go out and, you meet someone and you're like, you fuck and something happens or whatever. And you come back and tell me, I'm like, oh my God, hell yes. Was she hot? What the fuck she look like? Is she cool? Does she want to have sex with me? I want to know that. But I think cheating, would be lying about it, pretending that you didn't, being like, I went to the store, but actually you like met someone. I would be like, why wouldn't you tell me?
What's weird is I know dudes in a position where they kind of have that kind of freedom where it could be honest, and they choose not to. Like they'd rather be in a place of dishonesty, particularly with the person they love. And I think that's why I want to touch on, like, this image. I have to break down an image of this pristine virginal person. I have to break down an image of property.
Yeah.
I have to break down an image of all the things that come with like the public totem of wife, and I hope she's doing the same for me because I don't fit all this other shit either, and I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to talk to her and figure this shit out, and if we can't talk and figure it out, it's fine. Like, you know what I'm saying? We gotta, but that's the whole thing.
Okay, I think we should hop off.
That's
I've been having so much fun. This is so great, but, like, thank you guys so much for listening for so long. We'll come back next week at least and, talk some more about this because, like, it's really great. I'm sorry it was a little bit more disjointed than I envisioned it was, but, like,
I don't know what we said.
Oh my God, this is gonna be an interesting one. I feel like we talked for like 3 hours. I love it. Let's keep doing it.
All right, y'all.
See you guys.
Thanks.
Okay, great. Oh my God, I wish we could save these comments. Damn it.